What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Ben Valiant, back with another episode of the Sports Pod. And today, I think the Knicks got their swag back. I think they got their vibes back, their mojo. I really like campaign. Mikal Bridges is getting it going, and Karl Anthony Towns is doing Karl Anthony Towns things. Real quick before I hit the intro, if you want to be featured on the Sports Pod and you want your voicemails played on the Sports Pod, you can dial the number 848-305-8073. All right, I'll get into everything on the other side of the intro. Hit it.
DiVincenzo at three. Bang! Bang! Got the wall. He jumps. It's gone. He did it. He did it. Pete Alonso with the most memorable home run of his career.
All right, getting into the episode. Now let's start with what the Knicks have done on this recent homestand. They've won 2 games, 2 very convincing wins. First one against the Pelicans, 118-85, and then the second one against the Magic, 121-106 to clinch East Group A in the NBA Cup. I really like what the Knicks have done early in these games. The first quarters, they've gone up early, and then they haven't looked back. That is what the Knicks need to do. They can't play with their food. They can't let teams hang around in the third quarter into the middle or even later parts of the fourth quarter and then win games like that. That's just not sustainable. And it's teams that they should be beating. Like the Pelicans, I know they won very convincingly, but the Pelicans are dead last in the Western Conference. So that's what the Knicks should be doing. But then if you go back one more game, they beat the Hornets but it was by a single point. And the Hornets were missing 8 players in this basketball game, including LaMelo Ball. That is an unacceptable win. I don't know how that's a word. Unacceptable win. That's just a ridiculous thing to say. But it's awful. That is truly a horrific victory. And the thing is, the Knicks were just lazy. I get it's the day after Thanksgiving. I get it's the end of a road trip, an 11-day road trip at that. But you have to just lock in for 4 more quarters, focus on the sport, and go home, go to sleep in your bed, and continue this little stretch that they're on. They're 8-2 over the last 10 games, so it's not like they're losing. And Mikal Bridges is starting to finally break out a little bit. I mean, he had 30 points against the Pels, but I don't know. Some of these games against bad teams just aren't good. Like they lost to the Jazz, who are a bad team. They only beat. I guess the Nets are right. They lost to the Bulls. That's awful. They lost to the Pacers. The Pacers are not a good team this year. They lost to the Hawks. They lost. Who else did they lose to? That's really it. But they've lost to some bad teams, and they've won some games where they played absolutely awful. Now let me get to Jericho Sims. As you people who are saying Jericho Sims has not been bad, that is just not the truth. It is the furthest thing from the truth. This one statistic that he's the best rim protector in the NBA, it is a garbage stat. He is so clearly been awful this year. And I get he's put together a couple solid games, kind of figuring out his role, but he has not been good, flat out. I mean, his rebounding, yeah, it's great. All he does on defense, he gets back down so easily and relies on his physical ability, which that's fine, I guess, because he can jump really high. But it doesn't work when you're playing good bigs. Like if he's going to match up with a Wemby, or even match up with like a Brook Lopez. That doesn't work. He has to hold his ground. It's like the Knicks are playing 5-on-4 because all the help defense that they have to play. It doesn't work. It's not the right way to play basketball, and it's not what he should be doing. There are a lot of other things that he could do better as well. I mean, he doesn't do anything on offense. He is worse than Mitch, and that is saying something. Like Mitchell Robinson is a better lob catcher. He can dribble a little bit more than Jericho. Neither of them can shoot the basketball from the free throw line or anywhere outside of the paint. But I would rather have Mitch because of his defense and his rebounding. The offense, it's pretty equal. Neither of them are good. So it's not a plus to Jericho Sims that I'm saying he's got equal offense to Mitchell Robinson. Both of them are probably in the bottom of the league, and that's in that category. But someone who's not in the bottom of the league for one category, Josh Hart leads the NBA in field goal percentage. Within he's actually second behind Wemby, within 5 feet of the basket. Um, he's a force. He's a 6'9" player in a 6'3" player's body. That's realistically what Josh Hart is. I mean, he's averaging like, let's see, let me get the exact number on how many rebounds he's averaging. I don't want to mess this one up. Let's go rebounds. Josh Hart, he's averaging 8 rebounds a game. That is unheard of for a guard, and like a relatively small guard at that. Like, he's not one of these like LaMelo Ball, Ben Simmons type guards that are 6'7", but identify as a guard. That's not what Josh Hart is whatsoever. He's so much more than that, and it's like, I don't know. He just brings so much more to the table that he shouldn't, being that he is like 6'4", 6'5". Let me get to Karl-Anthony Towns next. Karl-Anthony Towns so far this year has proven everyone wrong, including myself. The stigma that all Knicks fans were under, that he was soft and he wasn't going to bring that element of toughness that Knicks fans expected and have come to live by at this point over these past couple of years. It's not the truth at all. I mean, it really isn't. He's proven to me that he could play hard. He could play defense, and I like it. I love what I've seen out of Karl-Anthony Towns. His offense is so much fun to watch. That pass he had to Mikal against the Pelicans, where he passed and like spun around, Mikal sold by missing the 3. But that's just awesome. Mitchell Robinson would never do that. Julius Randle would never do that. And the Timberwolves are sputtering. Leon Rose is a genius. He makes another move that people don't like, and it ends up being awesome again. I love it. Leon Rose is probably the best president of basketball operations in the entire NBA. The Knicks are a contender. They're back in contention. That rough start to the year was just them finding their footing, and now they're good. They're going to get on a roll. They're going to keep winning. And then at the trade deadline, the best president of basketball operations is going to have to step back up to the plate, make a couple moves, maybe bolster your front court depth. You'll see what you have in Precious Achiuwa. You'll see if he can bring to the table what he did last year. He's returning tonight against the Hornets from his hamstring injury. And then also, you'll see how Mitch performs. Can Mitch stay healthy, or are you going to package Mitch in a deal to trade away and bring back some a lot of talent and people that could contribute more than Mitch can? Because I think at this point, if you're going a 3 big front court, you can probably get by with Cat, Precious, 1, 2, and then Sims off the bench. I don't love. I would rather you bring in somebody a little bit under the radar, somebody not many people are talking about, and he's like a low cost, high value type of guy. That way you have an insurance policy on Jericho Sims in case like he just sucks in the playoffs and he's unplayable against good teams. Don't get me wrong. The Celtics are going to be incredibly hard to beat this year. They're gonna be like the toughest challenge. They're going to be the Bulls of this era. They're not anywhere as near as close to the Bulls, but they're going to play that role. Like the Knicks could never get past the Bulls in the 90s. The Knicks are going to have trouble getting past the Celtics in the 2020s. It's going to be tough, but I don't know. I just feel like the Knicks are up to the challenge. I feel like the Knicks are beat to build the Celtics. I don't know if this is like the team isn't done yet. I want to see the Knicks play the Celtics again. I want to see it because I think the Knicks can win. The next time the Knicks play the Celtics, it's not until February 8th. And then they play them again on February 23rd and then again on April 8th. They have time to develop. They're going to be clicking on all cylinders at that point, fully developed, fully gelled. The roster All the players have chemistry locked in, and they're on a roll at that point. And then you'll go into Boston, and you'll see. We'll see what happens at that point. I mean, it's gonna be fun. I think in Eastern Conference Finals between the Knicks and the Celtics, that would be so amazing. I don't. I think I just do think the Knicks can win. I know this is probably being a Knicks homer, but I don't know. The Knicks are built to beat the Celtics, like I said. And the NBA is such a copycat league where you saw with with it was it Timberwolves? No, it was the Timberwolves. They were built to beat the Nuggets. That was their one goal going into the playoffs. Or that was what the one thing their roster was built to do going into the playoffs, and that's what they did. And now Leon Rose is kind of taken after the T-Wolves, and that's ironic because he traded with the T-Wolves. But they're taking after the Wolves, and they're trying to do a similar thing to take down the Celtics, the reigning NBA champs, the reigning Eastern Conference champions, and we'll see how it all plays out. All right, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, the bench. I want to talk about this Knicks bench. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's so much energy. There's so much shooting. There's so much pace. It's all running and gunning. Cam Payne is quickly becoming one of my favorite guys on the team. He is the Jesse Winker. I hated him when we were playing the Cincinnati Reds and the Nationals, and he was waving at the fans. I hated Cam Payne when he was on the Sixers and the Phoenix Suns, and he was waving, jumping around, all these gimmicks, all this nonsense, all the high energy stuff. When they're on my team, when Jesse Winker pimps the ball into the Coca-Cola corner in the NLDS, I'm loving it. When he's staring at that ball, when Cam Payne is hitting threes and running all around the court, jumping up and down, dancing on the sidelines, I love it. Cam Payne is awesome, and his game, he's like he's a worse version of Quickly. He's what the Knicks wanted, and Quickly at the. Oh, he's not as good as what the Knicks wanted in Quickly, but he's at a price that the Knicks can live with paying somebody like that. And the evolution of Deuce McBride has been awesome to watch. His jumper looks so clean now. His form it's crispy. It's near perfect. Deuce McBride has taken such a step this year. If you look at his stats, let me pull them up real quick. Deuce McBride is averaging, let me see, 11 points a game, and his splits from the field, he's shooting 46% from the field, 43% from deep, 88% from the line. That is the perfect Deuce McBride stat line. 11 points in 25 minutes, and assist, he's averaging just shy of 3 a game. That is what Deuce needs to do. I would like the assist to take an uptick a little bit, but that's just because he's the top scorer on that bench unit, and he's going to take a lot of shots, and he's shooting efficiently. That's the thing. It's not like he's not just chucking shots up for no reason. He's an efficient shooter. He takes shots that he thinks he can make, and he's earned the trust of Tibbs. Like, he's been on this Knicks team for 3-4 years at this point, and it wasn't like he started his rookie year, or he was playing in his rookie or sophomore seasons. It took time, and he's gained the trust of Tibbs, which is something every player under Tibbs has to do. And once you get that trust, he'll let you go. He'll let you make a mistake. Deuce McBride is one of the Tom Thibodeau prodigies. The Knicks have 2 of them, Deuce McBride and OG Anunoby. These two-way players that can score on the offensive end, but they excel on the defensive side of the ball, and that's what the Knicks need. That's what they need to continue having, and that's what I think will continue to happen. I mean, Deuce McBride has taken such a leap that the Knicks have been able to sit Jalen a little bit more. I think they can even sit him more. I mean, Deuce is averaging 25 minutes a game. Jalen's still averaging, like, Tibbs. I don't know, man. Let's see. Cam Payne is averaging 17 minutes a game. I think that could go up to 21. He was struggling early in the season shooting the ball, but now, since he's shooting, and especially right now while he's in this like hot shooting stretch, he'll play a little bit more. OG's averaging 36 minutes too high. Mikal 37 too high. Josh 37 too high again. But Let me just get back to Mikal Bridges a little bit. I don't think I talked about him enough. Mikal Bridges was in one of the worst shooting slumps I think I've ever seen to start the year. He was just atrocious. His jumper wasn't looking as crispy and as fluid as we've seen it in the past when he was on the Nets and especially on the Suns. But what he's gotten back to since the Knicks have come back to New York after this 11-game road trip, he's gotten back to the basics and he's gotten back to what he does. His game is looking a lot prettier. It's looking a lot more aesthetic, a lot. His jumper especially, it's got that fluidity again. It's got that swag, and it's starting to go in. That's what the Knicks need. That's what the Knicks fans are waiting for. That's what the Knicks gave up 6 first-round picks for. Mikal Bridges is shooting. He needs to continue to shoot at this high of a level if the Knicks want to go to the NBA Finals and even win the NBA Finals. And he needs to shoot better than this. Like, I know the three-point percentage is going to be down because of his rough start to the year, but he's shooting 33% from deep right now. It's not going to cut it come April. Come April and May, I expect that number to be up to, I don't know, it's going to be hard to get back up to 42, 43%, but 39, 40%, that doesn't seem out of the picture for me. It's I don't know. I think it'll work. And like, let me say this about the NBA Cup. This is the last point I want to make this episode, and then I'll wrap it up. I don't want the NBA Cup. I don't want the Knicks to win the NBA Cup. I don't care that the Knicks made the quarterfinals. The Lakers last year, they won the NBA Cup. Oh, we're the Lakers. We hung a banner for the NBA in-season tournament. And then what'd you do the rest of the year? You were awful. You did nothing. And your head coach is gone. You have a new head coach in there. You got eliminated in the playoffs. You didn't go to the Western Conference Finals, which you did the previous year. I do not want a similar thing to the Knicks to happen. And if the Knicks end up winning the NBA Cup, please, anybody at Madison Square Garden, please do not raise a banner in the Madison Square Garden rafters, the world's most famous arena. Do not put a banner up there for the NBA in-season tournament. No, unless the NBA absolutely forces you to. Please do not put a banner up there for the in-season tournament if you happen to win. I beg. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like, following, or subscribing based on the platform you're listening to this on. Also, if you want to have your voice featured on the Sports Pod, dial the number 848-305-8073 and leave a voicemail message. All right, one last thing. Make sure you go check out all my socials linked in the description below. And most importantly, keep it locked with the Sports Pod.